welcome, welcome, welcome to Makerspace, our Monday night event. I'm Denise Bean, the Youth Services Librarian, and it feels so good to be here tonight. But someone was wondering, what is Makerspace? Well, actually, tonight on Monday nights, once a month, it's basically a hands-on learning with a twist of science. You get to create and make your very own do-it-yourself experience with a huge splash of craft. And tonight we have a lot of different fun things that we get to do, and we get to learn as we get moving through it. But first, for a few housekeeping things, if you have any questions, and I'm going to ask you to put a response in the chat box, because tonight we're doing something a little bit different than we normally do. So for those that have signed up for tonight's events, you will be receiving your activity box. It hasn't gone out yet, but it will be going out sometime this week. So I want to put something else in that activity box that you might win tonight. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to pay attention. And if you get it correct, your answer is going to go into a box, and I'm going to pick your name out of it, and then you will win. Okay, I've got to show you. I have this darling little rocket, and this ties into also what we're doing tonight, this carved rocket that actually has a light to it. So if you get your answer correct, so tonight it's all about, we're going to make puffy paint, but we're also going to talk about the moon. We're going to do puffy paint and the moon, but not your regular puffy paint. We're actually going to learn how to make puffy paint with the microwave. I know we're always doing something fun with the microwave. So here's your question. Okay, I need your both listening ears on. So what was our question, Tyler? We were going to ask, because we're going to talk about the moon and the earth. So 2, which is bigger, the moon or the earth? And true or false? Does the moon go around the earth? True or false? I might have changed it a little bit. We had a plan in place, but oh well, right? Plans can change. All right, guys, are you ready to get started? So you guys go ahead, and at the very end, I want you to respond with a chat of giving me your answer. And we will, if you get the answer correct, we'll put it into a box and pick your name out, and you will get this really cool carved rocket that ties into everything we're doing. Okay, so tonight we're gonna do let me see, where am I at now? Okay, first I'll come back to that. All right, so we're gonna need some water, and self-rising flour, because right now we're gonna make the puffy paint. And it's really cool. I did it earlier tonight, did the puffy paint, turned out really well. And self-rising flour, it's not that easy to get. And the recipe that you get sent to you in the mail in your activity box, it'll have a recipe in there for you, because I'm going to send you some self-rising flour so you have it, on how to make self-rising flour out of your regular flour. But tonight we're going to be using the self-rising flour. Now I don't know why it's called that, other than that's what it's called. And then we're going to have some salt. So we're going to do salt. Have my bowl, so let's get making. Now you guys are just going to watch, because you don't have the supplies. And here we go. So we're going to take a teaspoon, so you can measure your teaspoon. And there's no, you don't have to worry about what goes in first or what doesn't go in first. So we're going to add a heaping teaspoon into the bowl. I'm going to set that aside so I don't drop it and get it all over. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put it in this nice heaping teaspoon of salt, just like so. And there's going to be science around this, of course. I'm going to put it in there. So I've added it to that. Now, if you want to, and I'm not going to do that tonight, but you could add a couple drops of coloring to this if you wanted to. And I did earlier tonight. I had a little food coloring to the actual earth that I made. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water, not a lot. Now listen, this is very important. When you add the water into it, It's just going to be just a few little drops because you almost want it to be like a paste consistency, kind of like a paste, not too runny, just a paste. So we're going to add a little bit of water. Now I don't want to spill it all over. Whoops. Take your time. Now this is kind of funny, but I have to tell you what happened earlier tonight. So I think you always have to give it a go before you actually start to record. Since these are all recorded and you guys can watch us later on. So when I did this earlier, I sprinkled my moon with some sparkly sugar, and I cooked it a little too long. And anyway, I went to find Tyler, and I go, "Oh no, Tyler! I think I burnt. The alarms are going to go off." So it kind of smells like burnt popcorn around here, but that's, my whole point of that conversation was make sure you are double checking and keep an eye on it, because you're going to want to cook this in like 30-minute increments. So I am stirring it up, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's just about right, kind of a paste consistency. And I wanted to tell you that you can use a paintbrush, a Q-tip to apply this onto your, so I actually have 2 paper plates, and I will be sending you this also in your activity kits. 2 different sizes because, well, one is the moon and one is the earth. And I'm going to add to the smaller one some of this paste. So I'm just going to, I just use my spoon to put it on. But if you want to be more creative and add with the Q-tip, go, do it that way too. So it's kind of pasty. Now, what I find most interesting, now I'm going to kind of spin it around. See, my spoon is kind of acting as like a frosting spread, but you can use whatever you want. So I'm going to put this around, and just like so. I love this. This is so neat. Now, you want the science part of this? I'm going to put it in the microwave. I'm so happy we ordered this microwave. We just got it in for things like this. So I'm going to put it in the microwave, and 30 minutes, not 30 minutes. No. 30 seconds, not 30 minutes. See right there, be trouble. So 30 seconds, and I'm going to hit start. Now, what's happening inside this microwave is some science. Because we added some self-rising flour, it came in contact with the water. Guess what it's doing? It's creating, as we breathe in, air bubbles. Air bubbles get larger, they expand. And have you guys ever had a very delicious pastry for breakfast, or something that has like airy, like a turnover? Okay, I know this isn't ready because earlier today I was doing this. So it is cooking. There's a little bit of steam coming out. That's because it's evaporating. I love how this is turning out because it has a lot of texture, just like the moon. All right, yeah, we forgot about our moon facts. I'm gonna let this go for another 30 seconds. That's probably gonna be it, because then we're really testing ourselves. So we're gonna go just for 30 more seconds, and here we go. So anyway, pastries are filled with air, and as it expands, those little air pockets create like a really fluffy pastry. Now, question, how old do you think the moon is? I'm a little worried about this, so I gotta keep an eye on it. How old do you think the moon is? How old are you? I think Tyler over here, he's young. He's in his 30s. I'm in my, well, I'm over half a century old, but the moon is, get this, and I'm not exaggerating, over 4.5 billion years old. That's pretty old. And that also, there were 12 people that actually, 12 people, right? Men, women. There were 12 people that actually walked the moon, physically with their feet walked the moon. Neil Armstrong landed in 1969. And I love this saying. This is the best saying. It says, that's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. And also, it takes, if you got in your car, if your whole family got into their car tonight and you decided you wanted to drive to the moon. Now keep in mind that's not going to happen, but if we're pretending, because it's fun to pretend. So if you got in your car and you drove 65 miles an hour, you know how long it would take if you drove there if you drove there around the clock 24 hours and never stopped? It would take you 153 days. Ooh, that's a long time. All right, we're back to this. This turned out great. So I'm going to turn it upside down. I have texture, which is basically what a moon has. Behind me, I have this most amazing, gorgeous moon. And this moon is full of all kinds of craters, rock, and the moon is made up mainly of iron. So now for the finished product, we're going to set this aside, right? Cool. Textures touch. It feels like puffy paint. It dries right away. You don't need to wait for it to dry. But this is really neat, you guys. You guys can do this and make all kinds of neat stuff. Now, here's what I did. I don't know. Hopefully this will show up. We weren't sure. We were trying to experiment earlier. All right, so here we go. Now, if you listened to that question earlier today, you might find your answer. So here I have what I have, one smaller, which is the moon, and the larger, which is the Earth. The Earth weighs more than the moon, and I have a moon that's going around the Earth. So I'm going to send you everything you need to create this same type of added effect. And this is neat. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is the moon. Added little sparkles to it, and it created moon craters. Isn't that cool? Anyway, I wouldn't suggest overcooking it at home. You might not like the results. Okay, and then one other thing real quick before we end and conclude our time together. In addition to you receiving everything you need from this, is I'm going to send you, this is so much fun. I had so much fun working on this. You guys are going to work on the Oreo cookie moon phases. I love this. This was on the internet a lot, and I saw it. I thought, what a great idea. So you're also going to receive, since you signed up tonight, you're also going to receive Oreo cookies, and everything that you need to do to participate in the Oreo cookie moon phase. And if you signed up for Hooked on Books, we're going to work on this too together when we get together after school. On top of all of that, I have, and I don't know if this will show up or not, but I have textures and actual touching where you can feel the new moon, and there's Braille, and it's beautiful. You can actually touch the textures of the full moon, the new moon, and all of that. And a waxing moon means that the moon is getting bigger, and how do you say that? Waning. I didn't want to call it a whining moon. The waning moon means that the moon is getting smaller. So there are so many cool things. So you guys are going to be filled with lots of fun things to do. All right, so remember, in the chat box, all you got to do is put in your answer, and I will send you this little rocket if I pull your name out of the hat. Anyway, thanks everyone for coming tonight and being a part of our evening. Make sure that you come back again, because on March 20th, we're going to be joined with our friend Dan, who's going to let us hear some really cool sounds. And on top of all of that, this is recorded, so you can watch it again and again if you wish, or not. You can go to the iowalibrary.blog. And next month, we've got some really cool stuff going next month. I'm working on our summer reading program. So anyway, thanks for joining us tonight, and have a great evening. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.